Hello and welcome. My name is Harriet Root. I love the city of Alton, and during my lifetime I was very passionate for and active in my community. I was born Harriet Eaton in Carrollton, Illinois in 1843. In 1865 I came to Alton by way of St. Louis. That December I married Augustine Root, and during our marriage we had 5 children. My husband my family belonged to the Unitarian Church, and my husband was one of the founders of this society here in Alton. I was also very active in my church and religion, and this gave me my start in philanthropic work. My husband was a very successful, self-made businessman. He started out as a clerk and then eventually began business for himself. He shared a hardware firm with Anson B. Platt on 3rd Street in the 1860s. During the Civil War, my husband temporarily suspended the business and sold cattle to the government out of Cairo, Illinois. At the death of his business partner, Mr. Platt, in 1872, he closed the hardware firm and entered into the agricultural implement business in St. Louis. This is where he met and became friends with John Hayner. My husband, in his time, was also president of the Alton Roller Milling Company. He was interested in a number of other enterprises as well. He operated the Root Opera House after our namesake on Bell Street, which is now the Mercantile Bank building. My husband was very active, involved, and successful, not only in business but in the community as well, and this gave me my start in This inspired me to use my position, my time, my voice, and my talents in several philanthropic endeavors. I was part of a group of women who were interested in charitable efforts in Alton. One of our great concerns was for the homeless women and children of the Altons, which included Alton, Upper Alton, and North Alton. We established the Alton Women's Home Foundation to help care for poor, friendless women. We were incorporated in 1897, and I served as its president for 15 years. The board first purchased the Dolby home on Bellevue Avenue, where we helped care for the less fortunate. In 1909, the need for more space became a priority, and this led to the construction of the home at 2224 State Street. The board eventually sold the Bellevue home, which is now the site of Riverview Park. The home on State Street, which was also supported by other charitable organizations, closed in 1966 and is now an apartment building. But in 1936, we had created an endowment that still aids Alton area women to this day. It is called the Alton Women's Home Association. Another of my most passionate endeavors was the formation of our library. As you know, my husband was one of John Hayner's oldest and dearest friends. I was among a group of women who spearheaded a fundraising campaign to help erect a building to house the library and its contents, which previously had been housed at City Hall. In January of 1888, Mr. Hayner told the board that he would donate $500 toward the cost of a building if we, the committee, would be willing and able to raise $4,500 in subscriptions from other sources. Board member Lucy Wright and her sister Sophia Stoll offered to donate a parcel of land on Bell Street, which they had inherited from their father, as a site for the building. But just as we were gearing up for the fundraising campaign, we were stunned and shaken by the deaths of 2 of our own within 2 weeks of each other, Emmeline Martin and Jenny Hayner, John's dear wife. In March, we convened for a brief memorial, and our plans were put on hold. But then in April, Jenny's seat on the board was taken by her stepdaughter, Florence Haskell. So with renewed energy, we went forward with a subscription campaign. The directors themselves gave generously to the fund. But barely a year later, on March 29, 1889, City Hall caught fire. The library was turned out on the streets. The books and the cases were moved to the Hagen building at the corner of 2nd and Market Streets. The library's assets were heavily damaged, and the insurance only paid $200 towards the damages. But we didn't give up. As soon as City Hall was again habitable, we moved back in and reopened for business. And the public showed its support in the best way possible, by paying the membership fees and making use of the library, and giving generously to the building fund. In March of 1890, the board's efforts were rewarded when Mr. Hayner told us that he would be bearing the entire cost of building a home for the library as a memorial to his late wife. The building that I speak of is called the Genealogy and Local History Building at the corner of State and 4th Streets. I passed away on October 17th, 1925, at the age of 83 at my home on State Street, which is now the site of West Elementary School and the public schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you.